Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I am dubbing the final review at this location. I know I said in my previous review that it would be the final review at this location that I've done so many reviews at. And I decided, I kind of needed to go and celebrate my final review here with this junk camera that has trouble keeping focus. So, how am I going to do this special review? Well, with the beer that got me into craft beer, and pretty much the first really well-made beer that I ever had, which was long before I even ever was aware of craft beer, and that is, of course, Chimay Blue, Chimay Reserve, Grande Reserve, the Belgian Trappist ale, made by Trappist monks in, of course, Belgium. This is a famous beer of a famous style. Along with Roquefort, this is one of the two Trappist ales that you'll find pretty easily. Well, I guess you can also find Orval pretty easily in the West. And, for a long time, it was one of the few beers, very well-made beers, that you could find in the West, period, before, craft beer really got big. And so, let's go and read the label, shall we? The registered trademark Trappist certifies that this ale was brewed within the walls of an existing Trappist monastery under the control of the Trappist community. A major part of the sales revenue is used by the monks to support charitable works. The exceptional yeast isolated by Father Theodore, combined with the purity of the highly protected water of the abbey's wells, gives Chimay its unique richness. Since 1862, Chimay's secondary fermented ales have neither been pasteurized nor filtered, and only natural ingredients are used. To fully appreciate the robust character of the Chimay Grande Reserve, serve slightly chilled in a wide-mouthed glass. Contains barley. So, this is the strongest of their three widely released ales. They also have a beer that's just for the monks to consume that they sell on premises. It's fairly light, 4.8. This is the one that's for sale to, us seculars, as it were. And the strongest, Belgian Strong Dark Ale, at 9% ABV. So, I have my Belgian glass here. Technically, though, you kind of want the goblet style for this, but I don't have a goblet glass, so in this glass it goes. So this is the beer that blew my mind and changed my world. When you open it, you smell a lot of fruit. Dried fruit, that is. Since it's bottle conditioned, you want to keep that last red dregs there, unless you like yeast flavors. And this is not a style that you should want the yeast in. Kind of poured it a little bit too sharp, so a bit too much head. You can kind of see, looking at it here, the good head starts here, the overpour kind of starts here, but that's okay. It shouldn't affect it too much. Highly carbonated, as one should be. And a semi-opaque dark brown color. Bit cloudy from what you can tell where the light passes through, as a bottle conditioned beer should be. Thick, frothy, beige head. And there's just a lot in this head here. You got baking dark bread. You got, you got dried fruits like raisins. You got that phenolic kick from the Belgian yeast, but not overly dominant like in lighter ones, but enough that you kind of get that sort of banana and cloves in there. Not very heavy though. You get a slight booziness. You get a smell that's almost like fruit cake. And almost I would say like a pleasant mustiness. Molasses, treacle. What's amazing here is how carbonated it is. As long as you notice, it's not going down. The head just lasts and lasts. Thick on the palate, but not oily. It feels thick but clean. A lot of thick beers, they often leave like an oiliness, which can be pleasant, sometimes unpleasant if it's a little bit too thick. This, no oiliness, clears the palate very quickly. Texture-wise it is, the taste does linger. Big taste of, really rich, brown bread, almost like a dessert style brown bread. Almost like brown bread with a little bit of sugar added to it. Got molasses, maybe brown bread with molasses added to it, actually. Just enough hops to kind of give it a bitter dimension in the finish, but the hops don't really play a strong role in this. It's all a malt show here. Well, not completely a malt show. Like I said, hops there add their little dimension there towards the end. Almost like banana chips towards the finish there. Cloviness is kind of hidden in the flavor, just barely perceptible. Not really boozy at all, almost no booziness. If it wasn't for the, thickness on the palate and the intensity of the flavor, you wouldn't think that this is very alcoholic at all. As it warms up, more of those dried fruits come in. Raisins, dried dates soaked in molasses. Whatever it is, not those kind of gross, neon fruits in fruitcake, but like those good dried fruits, those real dried fruits in fruitcake, whatever they are. Dates, figs, plums, all of them kind of candied in molasses. I'm saying molasses a lot, but molasses is just kind of playing, a side role in there. But to say it's almost like dark brown bread. It's just a sort of main palette on which the rest of it is playing. Intense yet delicate at the same time. What I mean by that is, you feel that flavor, you feel it there. It's intense, but there's all these little dimensions sussing out. And what's nice is no muddiness at all. You can just kind of transition nicely in between each one on the palate. In fact, it's so intense it might go and just wipe the palate. I'm going to go and have me a palate cleanser here. And this is rooibos tea from South Africa. I find it's actually really good for cleansing the palate. A bit better, a bit quicker than water, and it doesn't leave any lingering trace of tannic that regular tea does. Warming up, hops kind of expand a little bit, but again, very sideshow. Starting to feel it. It's warming me up. This is a very warming beer, very much a winter beer. Very much an anytime beer. This is a very good beer. But then, honestly, all Trappist ales are. You know, I can make a joke here about Christianity being the only religion that brews its own alcohol. But, you know, I can't think of a punchline. So, it's 11 minutes into this, and, you know, I can just keep on talking about this beer endlessly. Because, like I said, warm spot in my heart, because of the role it played in introducing me to beers that were more than just fizzy yellow water, you know, many, many years ago. Probably well over 10 years. I had this, like I said, years before I first really got into craft beer as a thing, and it was just mind-blowing to me at the time, but it didn't really, you know, cause me to look into more beers, being at the time I was far more into wine. And, you know, I just have to say, you really have to try this. Anyone who's serious about beer really has to try this. Mainly because it's, one, very well made, and two, it's made in a style that, unless you object to somewhat dark beers, and if you object to somewhat dark beers, you're not really a craft beer drinker, you're just an IPA fanatic, I suppose. Excuse me. And, you know, there's nothing that you know, if you're into good beer, this is in your wheelhouse. And I'm going to probably just cut it short right now because, like I said, this stuff goes straight to your head at 9.0. So, Chimay Grand Reserve, the perfect send-off to this great room. Probably going to be several, God knows how long, before I start recording more reviews at my new place. It's going to take forever to get it set up, especially since I'm working 60 hours a week right now. So, that's your final beer review for quite some time. Who knows, maybe by the time I upload this, I'll have others recorded, and I'll just have to end, and it'll just be queued up, and the next one will appear in several hours. Who knows? That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.